let's drift our minds back a few decades to go and talk about a fad that just plain boggled the mind. The pet rock. This was exactly what was advertised. It's a rock. That would be your pet. It wasn't decorated. It wasn't a particularly special rock, i.e. a kind of quartz rock or shiny rock. It was just a rock. And yet, somehow, this was an item that sold really well and remains a culturally relevant item to this day. But why are we talking about it here? Well, because there's a digital version of it, and it's honestly really stupid. So, allow us to ask, what are EtherRocks? Meet the NFT digital rocks craze. NFTs. The cryptocurrency space has repeatedly taught us that with time, anything can be valuable. Even a collection of ordinary digital rocks with no real value or purpose. For the past few months, the entire industry has been raving about non-fungible tokens, NFTs, which are digital collectibles stored on the blockchain and can represent anything from art to music and real-world assets. The craze has seen investors pay mad money just to acquire NFTs like the infamous Beeple's first 5,000 days that sold for $69 million. Even mainstream companies like Twitter and Visa are not left behind. The social media platform launched its own NFT collections, while the payments giant just purchased its first CryptoPunk NFT for $160,000. Recently, though, attention has shifted to EtherRocks, one of the oldest NFT collections that only came into the spotlight this year. Crypto investors and avid NFT collectors are clamoring for these virtual rocks, and their prices are climbing to outrageous heights. But what exactly are EtherRocks, and what value do they have? And just as important, why in the world are people caring about this so much? EtherRocks. Although EtherRocks, or ETH rocks, are only just gaining attention, they are almost as old as the now extremely popular CryptoPunks NFTs, selling for several millions of dollars. While CryptoPunks collection was created in June of 2017, EtherRocks were launched in December that same year. ETH rocks is basically a collection of digital rocks tokenized on the Ethereum blockchain. The NFT consists of still images of a rock, which are all identical in design and shape, but with different color tones. The creation of the EtherRocks was inspired by the pet rock toy craze in 1975, and only 100 ETH rocks will ever exist. Interestingly, the very first rock sold for 0.0999 ETH, worth around $300 at the time. The other rocks were sold between 0.1 and 0.36 ETH. The price increased as new rocks were minted. During the first 3 years of its launch, only about 20 out of 100 rocks managed to sell, leaving the remaining 80 rocks unclaimed. But the recent hype and explosive growth of NFTs have shot these virtual rocks' prices beyond the moon. Currently, all of the rocks have been minted, and many of them have been put up for sale on the EtherRocks NFT marketplace. The most expensive rock. The rocks are selling for 31 ETH, approximately $104,000 at the time of writing, to an outrageous $626,262 ETH, $2.1 billion per one, and they are being bought. Just a few weeks ago, ETH rock number 21 sold for 45 ETH, worth about $134,240 at the time. The craze continues to push prices further. The cheapest rock in the EtherRocks marketplace is currently priced at 95 ETH, $305,000. Within the past few days, some of these rocks have been sold for $612,000, $642,000, $714,000, and even $837,000. Unlike other NFT collections that can be traded on third-party NFT marketplaces, the ETH rocks can only be sold on its platform. As of writing these lines, the most expensive rock was sold for approximately $1.3 million, or 400 ETH. Moreover, the craze did not miss the leading figures of the crypto industry. Tron's founder, Justin Sun, bought a rock for $500,000. Is there real value here? Despite the hype around ETH rocks, the NFT collection has no real value. In fact, it is clearly stated on EtherRock's official website that the rocks are valueless and have no purpose. These virtual rocks serve no purpose beyond being able to be bought and sold, and giving you a strong sense of pride in being an owner of one of the only 100 rocks in the game. Part of the website reads, "But that's not all. The metadata of these rock images is not even stored on the blockchain, thus making it almost impossible to tie their sole ownership to the images." So, what exactly is driving the craze? Most buyers of ETH rock say their motive for spending huge sums of money to purchase the NFT, which has no real-world value, is to be in possession of the second-best historical NFT left, after CryptoPunks. Holders revel in the nostalgic aspect of the non-fungible token rather than the monetary benefits or external utilities tied to the rocks. Some people are even convinced that the prices of Ether rocks will continue to soar. Speculation of institutional involvement in the Ether rocks has further moved many buyers to purchase the rocks, waiting for the right time to sell them and cash out in millions. Just like any other DApp on the Ethereum network, users have to connect their web extension wallet, MetaMask, to the official website using the Connect to MetaMask button. Follow the instructions on the MetaMask extension to let the wallet integrate with the EtherRock.com website. Now, after making sure you have enough ETH in your balance, you can browse the marketplace and simply look for rocks with a buy button below them. With Ether rocks having no real purpose, critics argue that it's just another passing trend in the crypto space pushed by rapid growth of the NFT market, and it won't be long until the hype dies down. But at the moment, the price of these virtual rocks is increasing every minute, and smart investors are cashing out. Whether it will soon be lost to the pages of history, like the good old days of ICOs, or become a vital part of the industry, only time will tell. Experts weigh in on NFTs. So yeah, we just threw a lot at you. We admit that. But something that shouldn't be lost in all of this is the fact that this is one of many NFTs out there, and you can see why many are confused by them. Because they're just digital images or files, and many of them honestly don't have an inherent value. Just like how the Ether rocks are nothing but pictures of digital rocks. And yet, people are buying them left and right. For some, they see this as a major problem in a big way. Not the least of which is that while they may seem to have a value now, they won't have a value later. In an interview on Bloomberg TV, Coinbase co-founder Fred Ersham drew parallels between the rise of cryptocurrencies and the dot-com boom of the 1990s. I go so far as to say that 90% of NFTs produced, they will probably have little to no value in 3 to 5 years, Ersham said. You could say the same thing about early internet companies in the late 90s. To him, NFTs are no different than any other crypto project born out of the hype overnight. People are going to try all sorts of things. There will be millions and millions of cryptocurrencies and crypto assets, just like there were millions and millions of websites. Most of them won't work, Ersham explained. And that brings us back to the rocks, because these are one type of NFT out there. But there are just as many that are stupid and worthless as these rocks. And yet, people don't seem to care. It raises a lot of questions depending on how you look at things. The trouble with fads. The Pet Rock and Ether rocks honestly have one major thing in common, aside from their stupidity. And that's that they're fads for the most part. NFTs especially came out of nowhere, and only got popular because people realized how they could go and make money off of them. And with more people trying to bank on these NFTs, the bubble will burst eventually. The only question is, when? Because when it does, a lot of people are going to realize that they just wasted a lot of money when they could have done something smart. You know, like investing. But hey, If you want one of these EtherRocks, we're not stopping you. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at EtherRocks, what they are, and why they are undoubtedly stupid, no matter who you are and which one you're buying? Would you even dare indulge in trying to get something like this? Or would you rather just go outside and get a real rock for free? Do you think items like this are going to hurt the crypto industry over time? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.